Same deal.
Okay, same deal.
Except it's New Orleans.
Last chance on price break.
And once again, right there between the D and the O in dollar, the 0 right there, you think it's a 0, but it's actually an O for New Orleans that you're going to have. And again, at price break, final day, 119. I've got less than 10 dozen of these. And as you can see, it is absolutely stunning. Now, when you look at this, the higher the grade, the more it's worth in coins, with the exception is when we do a price break on Mint State 64. Right. Now, if you look, I may well have some Mint State 65s on hsn.com. They're not going to be 179 or even 279. I think they're like 399. Really? Yeah, so this is the very last affordable grade. And once again, it is certified. An independent third-party company, NGC in this instance, has looked at this coin and determined that it meets all of the standards of numismatic perfection for Mint State 64. Now, people are saying, well, I know you sell like Mint State 70s, Mint State 69s here. Well, if this coin was Mint State 69 instead of 64, it would literally be a $200,000 coin. Buku bucks. That's right. It would be absolutely incredible in terms of pricing. So for us to be able to have this coin, and once again, they are solid silver, and when I say solid silver for coins, it's 900 fine, unless I say otherwise. As you can see, look at this beautiful original luster. As you can see on that, some what they call frosting on the coin itself, which is kind of almost that dull white, that matte finish, which is very, very extraordinarily desirable. There is the O for the New Orleans Mint between the D and the O in dollar right there. Like I said, I wish I had 500 or 600 or 800 or 1,000, but on the 81S, I had 100 basically, 98. And on this one, I had 120. This one, well less than 100, and I don't know what we have on that 81S, but I suspect about 50 left is it. Yeah.
So final 3 hours to take advantage of that price break with $40 off. You're owning a piece of history. 3 flexible payments of $46.65 to get it at home. $203,989 is your